Hey, right now I'm going to teach you how to never doubt yourself. Hey, it's Ted McGrath, and I'm about to jump into how to never doubt yourself. But I've got this free gift for you right here on how to never doubt yourself in your communication or your public speaking. Now, you might be wondering, Ted, what about communication? What about public speaking? Well, when you think about it, every single day you're communicating. You're either communicating what your dreams are, or you're not saying anything about them. So isn't it better to be free to communicate to one person or to communicate to many people and to really share with them with true authenticity and confidence what you want in your life, what your dreams are in your life? If you could do that in life, do you think you could do it in business? If you could do it in business, do you think you could do it in front of many people? If you could do it in front of many people, do you think you could do it on a stage? If you could do it on a stage, do you think you could do it in front of a camera? If you did it in a camera, do you think you could do it in a movie? Oh my God, well, that's my life. That's how it started. Whatever age I started talking, and so did you, right? And then one day, I doubted myself. I don't know when it began. How about you? But we all doubt ourselves from time to time. But here's the thing. I say doubt the situation, doubt the moment, doubt the event, doubt what's about to happen sometimes, but never doubt yourself. Because we've all been in situations before. Take the first time I ever spoke in front of an audience, right? I got up there, not the first time ever actually, but one of the big speeches that I gave, right? It was kind of a big moment for me. I was 21 years old. I was going to this CPA firm. I was walking through the door. There were like 10 people over 60 years old. I looked like I was 2, and I was about to speak to these guys. Now, I was sure and confident walking in the door. In fact, I wasn't doubting myself at all. I had just come off 48 hours of binge drinking, because that's what I used to do in the day. Yeah, I almost died from a drug overdose, and yeah, it was a really bad scene back in the day. But today, I'm clean. I have purpose, I have a dream, and when I walked into that room, I had a vision that I was gonna knock it out of the park. In fact, I was overconfident to the point where I was like, I could go drink all weekend, and I could get up in front of a room of people, and I could go deliver a talk. Now, what happened? I walked in that room, I was like, I rehearsed this thing like 100 times, man, and I walked up in front of that audience, took 2 steps, and I couldn't even remember my own name. And so bad that I actually had the script memorized. But here's the thing, it really wasn't my ideas, it was somebody else's. So what I was doubting was really my ability to memorize and deliver something that wasn't even mine. My true ability, if I had just spoken from who I am and if I just had a voice of my own, I probably would have killed it. But I got up there, a little hungover, truth be told, and I started delivering my lines, but I went blank. I literally went blank. And the more I tried to think of what to say, the more I started to sweat. And the more I started to sweat, the more I sweat. And it was really bad. It was like I didn't wear an undershirt in a day, and I had this light blue shirt on, and I was sweating. It was coming down my forehead, and then it was seeping through my shirt because it was light blue. It got really dark blue, and you could tell that I was sweating really, really bad. So I took off my jacket, but then it got worse because I had sweat through my armpits and sweat down my arms. There was sweat everywhere. So I did the only logical thing. I sat in the front row with the CPAs. And we just sat there, and everybody was silent. Everybody was really embarrassed. I think everybody was doubting in the room. They were like, what is this guy doing? He shouldn't be up there. And surely by the end of the speech that I actually finished, God only knows how I got back up there and finished the talk. It was really embarrassing, but I did, and I finished the talk. Do you think everybody in the room was doubting me, even at the end? Yes. I looked like a fool. Total and complete fool. But do you think that stopped me from getting back up there 2 months later to go deliver that talk again and to nail it in front of that CPA firm and actually land the deal that helped us make 6 figures that year, helped me make 6 figures in income? No. It didn't stop me from doing what I wanted to do. See, I knew deep down inside, that's where the doubt wasn't. There was a knowingness that I had there. There was a knowingness that I belonged on the stage. Now, my habits, my drinking behavior on the weekend, my festivities that I used to have, they weren't really helping my dream too much. They weren't helping this knowing that I had inside. In fact, they were drowning out the knowing. Perhaps why I got up on stage and passed out. But deep down inside, you know something about yourself, don't you? So when you think about speaking, right, we do it all day long. I just wish more people would tell people the truth about what they want in their lives. You know, the other day I sat down, years later after 21 years old, and 20 years later, right, I come out, and today, not only am I an entrepreneur who's made millions of dollars and makes millions of dollars every year doing this talking to people like you, communicating all day long, speaking. See, I'm speaking to the camera right now. I started this video having no idea what I was going to say, to be quite honest. In fact, a little voice in my head was like, what am I going to say? There was a little bit of doubt there, but I know in my knowing that I don't doubt my ability. So when I start, I know I'm going to crush it and I'm going to do it in one take because I know who I am and I know what I can do and I know what my ability is, just like you. You see? We all have the ability. So are you listening to the voices of other people? Are you listening to the experiences and the failures and the upsets in the past? Or are you listening to your knowing of what you know yourself to be, which is a communicator, which is a speaker, which is somebody who should move people with their very words? That's you, that's me. We all have it inside of us. Who are you going to move today? That's why the stage is so great, right? That's why people love movies, right? Because you're moving people with emotion, with words, with communication. So if you ever thought about being a public speaker, and you're like, I got something to say, because we all have a voice inside. We all got something to say to the world. But the question is, will you say it? So back to my story. 20 years later, I created a play, a one-man play on my life story. I'm creating a movie. Tomorrow night, the writing starts for the movie. The guy's coming over. But I came out of a meeting the other day, and I sat down in front of my buddy, and it was a vulnerable moment to communicate this. I had to tell him something that I'd never really done before. And when I'd done it really badly. But I knew in my knowing that I had to tell him that this is something that I want to do. And I was, initially there was a little bit of hesitation on that. But I went into my knowing. I said, you know what? I'm not going to doubt myself on what I know, what I want for my life. I'm going to communicate it powerfully. So I sat down in front of my friend who's the Phantom of the Opera on Broadway. 3 years running he was. He's actually the Phantom. He started 9 Broadway shows. And I sat down in front of him and I said, you know this play that I wrote? And he said, yeah. And I said, I know you're helping me direct it. And I said, I've got an idea. And he said, what? I said, I'm going to sing in my own play. He's like, have you ever sung before? And I'm like, no. Really badly once when I was a kid, in the Nutcracker and stuff. And I was up there on stage, but I was only mouthing the words because I didn't know the lines. So technically it wasn't really singing. And I sing in the shower once in a while, but that's all the singing that I've done. And I said, I'm going to sing and I'm going to write a song. And I did. I started singing lessons and I wrote a song because in my knowing, I didn't doubt what I knew to be there and knew to be true. So courage comes from what you know about yourself. Your dreams are created from what you know about yourself. And the strength, the power of where doubt in oneself doesn't creep in, where one never doubts themselves, is when they go to that place inside themselves, that place, that you-ness, you know what I'm saying? Where it's really you know and you never doubt. Because when you trust in yourself and you are yourself, you will accomplish your dreams. And that's why I believe you can speak to the world. I believe you have something to say, which is why you're watching videos like this right now. Because you know you have something to say. It's like watching a movie. And for a moment you pause and you're like, I want to be that actor on screen. I think every person on the face of the planet has had that experience. I think very few have voiced it. So I'm standing up, standing out, speaking out for your dreams, my dreams, the world's dreams, because the world needs more dreamers. And unless we use our voice to inspire dreams within people, then what's this world going to turn into? We need messages of hope, not messages of disaster. It's all over the news. We don't need to hear that. We need people speaking out with a message for change. You have a message for change. But you got to reach deep down inside that place. You've been there before. You know it. It's like for me, I can go back to the day when I threw that ball in Little League, man. I got on the mound and I knew I was going to strike the guy out. And then the following season when I got promoted to the majors, I bombed every game and I was sucked and I was terrible. Right? But that didn't doubt the knowingness inside to come back, to persevere, to know that I could throw the ball. I just had to regain my confidence. I had to get in connection with myself and throw that ball again. Throwing the ball, throwing that word again, throwing that dream out again, throwing something out. You got to throw something out in this world. If you don't throw out, you're not going to get anything back in. And sometimes throwing's hard. Sometimes throwing can be scary. Sometimes throwing can be blocked by other people, by other people's doubts, other people's considerations. But who cares what they think? One of my coaches used to tell me, he goes, Ted, who cares what people think? He goes, people change all the time. Like one minute they're thinking about the weather and then the next minute they're angry at somebody else. Like people's considerations. He's like, just focus on the thing that you need to focus on in your life. Be true to yourself. I always remember that. Because you could have a great idea, right? You could have something you want to say and you want to speak to the world and you want to get up on stage and you want to say it, and you go out to somebody, you go, hey, I really want to go speak to audiences and be a public speaker, and they'll be like, that's dumb. And that little comment, if you're not strong and not doubting yourself, if you're not tapped into what you know about yourself, that little comment could destroy your dream. If you don't know what I'm sharing to you right now, but you do know it, because when I'm speaking truth, you feel that. You understand what I'm saying deep, deep, deep inside. You're like, I know this to be true because I'm speaking truth. I'm not like that jackass who's coming to invalidate your dreams. I'm not that guy, but there's plenty of them out there. And then there's the people out there that when you do share a dream, like I want to go speak from the stage or I want to get in front of an audience, where they don't mean harm, but they could just never visualize themselves doing it, which is why we need more speakers in the world. To share a dream, to share a message, to help those people who can't see themselves doing the thing they know they want to do. So you need to go speak. You need to use your voice, whether it's on video like this. Creating a presentation to where you can talk to people is the magic of life. It's beautiful. You can move people. You can change people's lives with your communication. Do it on video. Do it at your next dinner conversation with somebody. Do it from the stage. What's the difference? The only difference is people go, wow, I can never talk in front of 100 people. If you did it in front of one, you can do it in front of 100. I remember the first times getting up on stage, I was petrified. I couldn't even look at the audience. The first seminar I ever gave in my life, I literally got up in front of the audience. I knew what I was going to say because I memorized it. And I just walked back and forth. Like, couldn't even look at the audience. I just talked, walking back and forth. I couldn't even believe I got a sale in the freaking room. I never looked somebody in the eye once. But I'll tell you what, I got up there. So to think that you see people today, you see actors, you see people who speak from the stage, and you think, wow, look at that person do that thing. You know how many hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of training I have doing this? And it's not like somebody taught me how to speak on stage. I just got up there and did it. And I just kept doing it and 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 kept doing it. Never took a public speaking course ever in my entire life. Just got up there and did it. Just knew that I could communicate to people. You can do the same thing too. But you got to follow that knowing. You got to follow that dream. You got to follow that desire to say something to people, to say something to the world. So when I was going back and forth, like a little chattermouth, at the end I felt great because I was like, I confronted something that I was afraid of. That I knew inside that I was supposed to do it, but I was afraid to do it because I hadn't done it. So how do you handle that, right? When you know you're supposed to do something, but then you have the fear that comes in, and how do you handle that? I'll share another story with you. I was up on stage recently. I was about to do a play, right? I think I hold the world record for crapping before a play. 13 in a day. No joke. Probably too much information for you. 13 times going to the pot, man, like running through me. I led a seminar that whole day for 8 hours. And then I went that night and brought my group of people to the theater. And then I did a play for 75 minutes. Now, as I was getting up on stage, I remember the experience, okay? And it's a little technique that you can utilize. But I remember the experience. I was getting up on stage, and I'm there, and I remember that, like, I'm about to get up on stage, and for a second I was in my head. Well, if I'm here in my head, of course I'm going to doubt myself because my world's small. So all I did was go to myself, Ted, like, you're about to go out to the audience and communicate to them. So I looked at the wall. And I just said, okay, I got to put my attention there. Because I'm not going to be communicating to myself in the show. I'm communicating to them. So why would I be in my head now thinking about the performance when I need to be out there thinking about them and delivering to them? So all I did was take my attention out of here, put it there. The moment I put my attention there and just focused there and walked out on stage, all the nerves went away. See, I was in here like churning, all this energy, churning. My body can't contain the energy that I have to deliver in that show. Can't contain it. So what do I have to do? I have to expand, right? I have to let the energy go. The show, the people in the audience are desiring, they need a bigger energy. If I'm here, I can't communicate to 100 people. So naturally, I'm getting ready to expand, because to communicate to 100 people in my knowing is just like, dude, you got to reach 100 people. You got to, here. You can't be here. The moment I go here, all the nerves go away. There's no contained energy. I'm not trying to hold myself in. I'm going, vroom. And then I can talk to 100 people. That's the game. So when you learn that that stuff coming through you. I remember I got up in front of 500 people doing a talk with Donna Karan and Deepak Chopra. And literally, I was about to get up on stage. There's 500 people there. My legs are nodding up at the time. I'm like, holy shit, this is early on in my career. My legs are nodding. I'm like, what am I? My legs nodding. I'm twitching. All this stuff happening. I was trying to contain the energy that was coming through. Don't contain it. Use it. It doesn't need to be contained right now. It needs to reach the audience. Just like the words you have about the dream you may have of public speaking. The dream you may have of delivering something to somebody and saying something. Start by telling one person. Maybe you just tell them your dream. That's speaking. Maybe your dream is to get up in front of an audience. You tell somebody and you just spoke to somebody about your career and you just put it into action. Maybe your dream is to go get on a stage and speak in front of somebody. What are you going to say? There's all kinds of speakers. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call this much of a content talk right now. I'm not really teaching, but I am teaching through story. I'm just talking to you. I'm just having a conversation with you. And through my life experience, you're picking something up about your own life and you're going, wow, I'm having some kind of realizations about how I might be able to go out and speak to people. That's my goal for you right now. So whatever you're feeling right now, you should follow that thing and step in. So for you, I want you to take an action on it right now. Is it I need to go talk to somebody and tell them my dream? And maybe that dream is public speaking. Is it I need to go get booked on a stage where you've been thinking about it for a while and be like, I want to go to my local networking group and go talk to somebody and go get up on that stage and like say something. And I'll give you a tip. One of the best things you could do when you get up on stage is tell people a story. If you feel like you can't get up on stage and just talk, if you tell the story, the great thing about a story is you'll be in the moment of the story and so will the audience. You won't be thinking about the talk. You're just telling the story. Great tip on public speaking, right? You tell a story, you're like back in the experience. You're not even thinking about what's really happening on stage. You're just in the moment delivering the communication of what it was like to be in that moment and the audience is experiencing that moment with you. Greatest way to bring people in present time, tell them a story. So you can do this thing, right? You've got a voice, you've got a message, you've got something to say. What's it gonna be for you? Now the cool thing is I've got this great gift for you on how to never doubt yourself with communication or public speaking. So you can use this template that shows you how to communicate. It gives you a framework on how to communicate and how to say things to people in a way to where they're going to receive them. And how to say things in a way to where you can engage people. And when you're getting too much into the flow of something, you just stop and you go, hey, I'm going to tell somebody a story. And you tell them a story, right? If you're rattling out too much information, you just pull back, you tell a story. Shows you how to do things with tempo, right? If you're going to go fast and you stop and you slow down, there's ways to talk to people, but you don't really need to know all of that out of the gate. You just need to have something to say, which you do. So if you have something to say, you're already a speaker. My goal for you is just to speak. You already have something to say. You're already there. Now it's time to go say it. If you like this, go ahead and like this video. It would really help me. If I served you in any way, if I evoked some type of emotion or inspiration inside where you're like, yes, I want to go say something to the world, well, say something for me right now. Just a simple like down below. Like this thing and subscribe to my channel. If you want more awesome videos like this where you're going to get inspired in your life, then you should definitely subscribe to my channel because I got great videos for you. And I already told you about the gift, so make sure you go get that thing right now. And if you have questions, I'm here to serve you. This could be the first realization right now where maybe you want to ask me a question about your speaking career and I'll answer it because I'm somebody who's not going to shoot down your career. I'm going to encourage it. So ask that question down below. I will see you soon, my friend. Rock and roll. Perhaps I'll see you on a stage somewhere soon. You're a star. Talk to you soon.